Hello, everyone. Happy Jubilee Day, Happy Freedom Day, Happy Juneteenth. I'm Dr. Laura Renee Chandler. I'm Director of the Center for Diversity and Community at the University of South Dakota, as well as Director of the South Dakota African American History Museum located in downtown Sioux Falls. Juneteenth is the best holiday. Some of my favorite memories of growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, involve visiting several parks throughout the city with my father on Juneteenth, eating delicious food, listening to great music and inspiring speeches, and buying beautiful items from all of the vendors who came out to celebrate the holiday. It is truly a day of joyful celebration with family and friends. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June the 19th, commemorates the day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, were informed by Union General Gordon Granger that they were now free. Due to the minimal presence of Union troops in Texas during the war, these African Americans were the last to learn the war had ended and freedom had come. This happened nearly 2 months after the surrender of Robert E. Lee and more than 2.5 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. After a long, protracted war over the institution of slavery and the future of our nation, the Emancipation Proclamation was now in effect. Celebrations of Freedom Day started soon after the war in the late 19th century, with thousands of African Americans making the pilgrimage to Texas to partake in festivities such as pageants, performances, and parades. Some of the nation's largest and most elaborate celebrations today take place in Galveston Island and Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas, a park established and named by formerly enslaved people in 1872. Some of South Dakota's earliest Black families, the Mitchells, the Blakeys, the Tates, and others, use this time of year, late June to early July, to host a series of community picnics that eventually included Black families from Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota. Even though we have to socially distance this year, we are honoring an African American tradition that has existed in this region since the early 20th century. While Juneteenth is primarily a time of celebration and reflection, the holiday also serves as a reminder of the work that is necessary to ensure that justice and freedom for our people will not be delayed or denied. Juneteenth honors African Americans' courageous and ongoing commitment to the Black freedom struggle in America. For that reason, Juneteenth of this year, 2020, takes on a special and hallowed significance. Due to the ongoing protests in response to the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many other African Americans at the hands of police, we are witnessing an outpouring of social movement activism demanding change. South Dakota does not formally recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday. And in this critical moment, there is a renewed push to ensure that all 50 states recognize Juneteenth and even support the existence of a federal holiday. This is our opportunity to renew our commitment to the promise of freedom, not for some, but for all of our citizens. It is time to formally recognize Juneteenth in our state. Happy Freedom Day. Hold your friends and family close and don't give up the fight. Happy Juneteenth.